So, we're gonna come at this kind of video from two different angles, really. The first one that we're going to discuss is going to be kind of relevant to this gameplay, and that's going to be the idea of spotting with aircraft carriers. Like, all of these things I'm going to describe right now are frustrations that I have as a relatively new player, and they're going to be kind of, how do I put this, maybe kind of viewed through a new player's mindset. And the first one is obviously going to be spotting from aircraft carriers. Now, I know spotting isn't inherently bad. It isn't. It's the fact that the aircraft carrier faces so few consequences for doing this. Because one of the most harmful things, in my idea, and how I play the game, for a DD player is to be spotted. I mean, it completely leaves you 100% vulnerable, as you can see. And because maybe this is my bad playstyle, maybe, that the fact that I'm by myself means this guy can just spot me for a minute and a half without me having any way of counterplaying, except setting up a smoke in a location that's completely useless for me or my team. And the fact of the matter is, I end up taking 8,000 damage. Now, if we use that as a percentage, that's about, it's almost about, I'd say maybe 40%, I think, or maybe 30% of my total HP as a result of that. And that's without the planes even doing really all that much damage. They may have contributed a little bit, but not all that much. It's the fact that I was just spotted, and I wasn't willing to compromise how I could. One of my main aspects on the gearing is the guns, the consistent DPS, by using my smoke. I'd have to wait another 2.5 minutes because I already wasted one of my smokes in an unoptimal location just because I got spotted. Meanwhile, the carrier faces absolutely no consequences for this. Actually, it's encouraged because it's effectively stopping an enemy DD, which in turn affects an entire flank of the game. Like, we can't push D now under any circumstances, and me sitting there getting radared is just me being a complete and utter noob. So all of this is just garbage. Play after this, I think I got pretty tilted actually. Now let's just ignore the fact that he got double fires on me, because, well, I probably deserve them at this point based on how I'm playing. But they effectively stopped our entire strong side push just by keeping me spotted for that period of time. And now effectively I have to play really hit and run tactics to have any kind of impact on the game. And as you can see, I get tilted and start talking shit in chat, which I wouldn't advise to do, but sometimes you just need to get that frustration out, you know? Sometimes you just need to let it go. So that's going to be the first aspect that I'm going to touch on. And the second aspect, well, it's fairly different. You've seen a little bit of it in this gameplay, but I'm going to switch to some other gameplay which should highlight what I mean in a much clearer fashion. This is a lot more visceral, shall we say, than the first one, and I kind of debated whether or not I wanted to even include this because, like, in myself I knew this was bad play for me to an extent, but I think that the extent that I got punished for doing this play is absolutely ridiculous. And you're going to see the mistake I think I made here is that I forgot to turn off my AA effectively. I forgot to turn it off. So I get spotted for a millisecond. Like right now. I turn off my AA, realizing my mistake, but it doesn't matter anymore because the carrier's coming for me. Now, I did watch a video by Notzer about how to dodge these incoming attacks, but I wouldn't have had time to actually execute that maneuver in this scenario. And again, I'm absolutely out of my mind realizing how this is even happening. I'm so tilted. I forget to smoke up because, again, it's pointless. I'm going to be out of the battle for 2.5 minutes. So at this point, I'm throwing I'm throwing a complete fit. I'm triple fired, and I've lost 17,000 HP. I think I end up losing like 18k by the end of the game. But this amount of punishment before any salvos have been fired, anything. And then I'm completely done at this point, so I decided to charge at the enemy team without any cover. But the fact that this amount of punishment can be dealt out without any recourse
Enemy force sighted on the horizon.
is utterly. It just feels so bad as a new player trying to just get better, because this game's wasted for me in learning how to play better. Sure, you could say that I now know to keep my AA off at the start of the game, but it just feels incredibly busted that a carrier with no recourse, with no ability to take any reciprocal damage, that you can't even see on the map, can basically take what, 75% of your HP with no recourse.
Engine boost
And
deactivated.
the thing overall, obviously this is happening now, I'm probably going to die here soon, but the thing overall is the fact that real life shows us how these things play out so well. And yet that just seems to be completely ignored and completely just sidestepped. And there's this endless attempt to try and balance how carriers play within the game, which is never going to actually work, because real life, again, they're just inherently broken by design. And I suicide myself, which is not good gameplay. I shouldn't do it, but I was incredibly tilted. But again, I would even like submarines. Obviously, they're going to be introduced to the game. I think they are a lot more. How do I put it? From a new player perspective, a lot more palatable than aircraft carriers. Even from a real life, like that's another thing I don't get. That real life shows us so well how this plays out. Submarines can be dealt with convoys sticking together, and like destroyers by themselves with depth charges. There's a way of fighting back. But with carriers, if they see an enemy ship, even in real life, you're completely donezoed. There's no real fighting back. I mean, there's a reason battleships went obsolete, and there is none anymore in any navy in the world. Anyways, that was my little rant. Maybe you didn't enjoy it, maybe you didn't agree with it. But that's just my experience playing World of Warships as a new player playing their first tier 10 DD. Maybe I'll get better, maybe I'll learn to deal with it, but I just needed to get that out there. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.